Hello friends, welcome and welcome back again to my channel. I am Grace, and in today's video I'm going to be making a second set or a second pattern from my MILKMAID pattern set, and this is going to be the gathered dress, the mini gathered dress. I mean, technically it isn't so mini, it's just like slightly above the knee, but I decided to call it that because the other one was called a midi. Yeah, so for today's video I initially planned on using a white fabric, but while I was placing the patterns on top of the fabric, I realized that the fabric I had wasn't enough, so I am going to be making a little black dress. Okay, so yeah, and I mean, when I when I thought about making it a white dress, I was a bit skeptical because I'm not really a white fabric kind of person. I'm too lazy to take care of them, if I'm being honest. So I tend to gravitate towards darker colors, and black is like the best for me. And when the fabric wasn't just enough, I was like, okay, this is a sign. It's a sign for me not to use a white fabric. So I decided to use a black as well. And for this, I decided rather than making everything all cotton, I'm going to be making the sleeves and organza sleeves. Then the rest of the dress would be the cotton, black cotton fabric. Okay, so yeah, let's just jump right into the video. And if you're stopping by for my if you're stopping by on my channel for the first time, then you are most welcome. My name is Grace once again, and I create a lot of sewing videos on this channel as well as pattern making. So if you're interested in one or some of my patterns, you could check the link in the description box below, or I usually try to leave them in the comment section as well, just in case. So either one is fine. And I really don't know when this video is going up. I think it's probably going to go up after the free version of this pattern is over, I guess. So unfortunately, probably when this video is going up, the pattern isn't going to be free anymore. But yeah, if you got the pattern, I would really love to see what you've made with it. And don't forget to tag me on Instagram and on TikTok, anywhere really. You could even send me an email. So without talking way too much, let's just jump right into the video.
Okay, so what you'd want to do is obviously print out your pattern, and after printing them out, I'm just placing all of them together like so. And after placing all of them together like so, I'm just going to use a sellotape. You could use a paper tape, or you could use like the regular sellotape in paste putting all of them together. Then after which you basically cut out your pattern. Okay, so after cutting out my pattern, the first one is to just cut out the pieces I need for the bodies. And for the bodies, you're going to be cutting out it's basically written on the paper, so it's easier for you to know what you're cutting out. So if you would want a lining to go with your fabric, you would cut out a lining as well. And if you do not want it, you can just skip that part. For the top part of this dress, I decided to go with a lining, but for the bottom part of the dress, which is the gathered dress, I didn't go in with a lining, but you could actually put a lining if you feel uncomfortable with a dress without a lining, or if the fabric is transparent. So after which I'm going to start putting all the pieces together. So I'm starting off with the front bodies, and I'm just sewing the center front and the side fronts together like so. After sewing the front bodies together, that's what you'll have. And the next thing is to focus on the back bodies, and I'm just going to sew them together as well. And after sewing them together, it just makes the next step easier to follow. Okay, so after that, we're just going to focus now on the bust cup. And for the bust cup, you're going to cut out 4 pieces of it. You could do 2 if you don't want to cut out 4, but I prefer cutting out 4 because um it serves as a lining. The inner one serves as a lining of some sorts. So after which, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the pattern for the sleeves. You're going to cut 2 of this. Then after which, you also create your notches where you need to create your notches, and which is going to be where the casings will be for the elastic band to create the puff sleeves. So the next thing is to cut out the fabric you need for the casing, and in this case you'd need to cut out 2 of each, like it's also indicated in the pattern, so you definitely would know. So you're going to start off by pinning the casing onto the sleeves. You could start with the bottom or the top, it really doesn't matter. I basically went with the flow, and I'm just going to pin them. After pinning them, I'm going to sew this down to the sleeves, then also sew in the center, because you're going to be creating 2 casings in one casing to have 2 elastic band pass through in one casing. I hope that makes sense. So after sewing it down, you're just going to pass your elastic band through, like you can see me do right here. So after passing all the elastic bands through the casing, you're just going to sew the sleeves down, having right sides facing each other, and after which you're just going to pin the sleeves to the bodies like so. And another part that got missing while I was filming was also um, sewing the casings for the top part of the sleeves and inserting the elastic band. But this isn't really a problem because the first video, which is going to be linked in the description box, showing you how to create the crop top for this, is so descriptive. So you definitely wouldn't miss much there. This is basically me just showing you how I created the gathered dress, but the crop top is way more detailed. Okay, so after I'm done sewing the bust cup, I'm just going to fold the edges of the center front of the bust cup and then sew that down because we don't want it fraying. Then after which you're going to go down by half an inch at the top and sew it, then also create gathers at the bottom as well. So after you create the gathers at the bottom, this is what you should have. So the first thing I'm going to do right now, before I now create the gathers to fit in the bust cup of the bodies, is to put the strap I created into the casing at the top of the bust cup. After doing that, you're just going to pin the bust cup to the bodies, having right sides facing each other. Okay, so after pinning all of them together, you're just going to sew it together. Then when you're done sewing it, the next step is to also pin the lining to the fabric. I also realized that I wasn't recording while I was pinning the first part of it, but I just decided to show you the rest. Like it's really it's really self-explanatory, I believe. So yeah, we basically have right sides of the lining and the fabric um facing like away from you, so basically touching the floor or the table or whatever you're placing your fabric on, and the wrong side facing you for both the lining and the fabric. Then you pin them down and you're just going to sew. Okay, so now for the bottom part of the dress, next thing is just to open it, insert the pocket fabric first to it like so. So I'm going down by 1.5 inch. The reason why I'm going down by 1.5 is, first of all, I need to have enough space to create gathers and also seam allowance to attach the bottom part to the top part of the dress. So after placing the pocket on one side, I'm just going to fold this to place the pocket on the other side. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because I want it to be evened out on both sides as well as the back of the fabric. Okay, so after pinning all of them together, you're just going to sew the pocket fabric to the gathered dress or gathered skirt fabric. And after doing that, next step is to just place the front and the back fabric together like so, and you're just going to sew along the edges. I'm going to show you the edges you need to sew along in a minute. I'm just pinning all of them down to make it easier for me to sew. So you're going to sew along the edge like so. Now that you're done sewing, you're going to go down by 6 inches and sew to create the pockets. So the next step is to create your gathers to fit the top part of the dress, and after which you're going to place the right sides of each fabric together and sew. Then the last step is basically inserting your invisible zip, and voila, you're basically done with this dress right here. I really love it because it gave me this cottagecore vibe, and I love how it's cinched around my waist as well. So when you are doing this, you could just make sure that you take your measurements and you cut accordingly as well. So yeah, this is the final result. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye.